Kia ora, good morning. Just a quick video. I'm going to put some links in the description box below. But you know my whole story with the human trafficking and the fight that I had with my ex and my husband and Rocio, the one who tried to kiss my son, and my students who all tried to stop me, the US government, the UK government, everyone, the whole reason for them wanting war in Europe is to stop Vladimir Putin from protecting the children that are being human trafficked, and the whole reason for doing Vanity Black the musical. And you know my story. You know that I'm here to protect the children from human trafficking, and that my whole reason for building the foundation is to make the money to build these safe houses for the children that we rescue from human trafficking. So I'm going to put a link in the description box below, but I'll also put it in my community notes of a human trafficking survivor who was taken to Bilderberg meetings in Europe, taken to America, because obviously, they send these kids all around the world. So for the nearly 400,000 American kids alone, most of them are probably either have been sacrificed, for occult sacrifices, or they've been sent all around the world. And the Ukraine is obviously the human trafficking capital of Europe. So more kids and young women in that get trafficked through Ukraine than any other country in Europe. And of course, they like to try and slip them through the borders and that to get them to countries like America, on the cargo ships, and so that they're not as easily detected. People like Elon Musk have built the underground tunnels so that they can get them shipped from one country to another, or one continent to the next, sort of thing, through tunnels and through the cargo ships, and to America and around Europe and Asia and all that sort of thing, to supply to the elites and the rich and famous and stuff. Diddy, Epstein. So the whole reason why Starmer wanted war, not only to stop an election because he knows he's out, same with Zelensky, but also to supply children. So the whole reason why Europe wants the war with Russia is because Vladimir Putin's trying to stop it. And the reason why the Lord sent me to be his guardian was to make sure that he was okay and that he could continue to rescue the children and, stop the supply of adrenochrome and all of that. And I made a video the other day about, the reason why the UK and EU and Zelensky want the war. Again, I'll put a link in the description box. The dream I had yesterday about, rescuing my best friend, and the people in the hooded capes, like it's all connected, because he was supposed to help me rescue children, and he ended up being drawn to the whole, Elon Musk, US government, my students, people in my past, because obviously, I found out that I was surrounded by child abusers and sex abusers and pedophiles and all of that. And of course, when I started trying to whistleblow, that's when they started trying to kill me. As soon as I started making the plans to, build the foundation, and with my husband Martin and all of that in 2016, 2017, that's when all my students and, Musk and the government and all of that started tapping my phones and, watching my WordPress. And I had no idea that my students were involved in trying to take me down to protect pedophiles and human traffickers. I didn't know until I started administering the Judas test. And I didn't know until right up until my ex-husband put the cocaine in my pizza that he was involved in it as well. They were all promised things, to help stop me. And then, of course, going to the police for help. And then they tried to set me up. And, now Starmer every month now in order to get my my money. I have to prove I'm here legally, which was never a problem until Starmer got in and I started, you know, banging the drum and blowing the whistle about his role in the human trafficking. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is that one of the people that the Lord sent me here to protect was King Charles. His mother, if you go to my ex, was using my physics. Remember I was saying when the dead come through, it takes a lot of effort for the dead to come back, and they have to defy the laws of physics in order to do it. Well, Queen Elizabeth II did that. And it's all on my ex. It's all there. Not so much on, I think some of it might be on my Instagram, but I was focusing a lot on X because I was trying to get Donald Trump's attention. I was trying to get Vladimir Putin's attention, trying to get the world's attention to what was going on here in the UK, to stop the war with Russia, to protect Vladimir Putin because he's protecting the children. He's, you know, he's sending elite forces out to places like Israel to rescue, you know, human trafficked children through Europe and all of that. And he's constantly accused of being, you know, kidnapping children and that, but he's not. He's rescuing them. But because the elites of the world and, you know, the EU and the UK don't want people knowing that he's actually the good guy, they pay the media and that to pump out all these stories about him being evil and kidnapping children and blah, 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 but he's not. He's rescuing them. So, of course, they want the world to think that he's the bad guy and Zelensky's the hero, when in actual fact Zelensky is trafficking them. And he's very cruel about it. Like, he's the Ukrainian version of family services, you know, child protective services, and that he gives them instructions to just take the children from the homes, and he's targeting Russian children especially. But it's all there. It's all on my Instagram. But the reason why I'm making this video is the Annika in this video is telling her story, and I want you to pay close attention to the fact that while she's talking about David Rockefeller, she explicitly says that the Rothschilds weren't pedophiles, that the Rothschilds weren't, she said that, you know, that they were there and they were involved in things, but that she never witnessed the Rothschilds being pedophiles. And the reason why I say this is because conspiracy theorists are constantly associating King Charles and Queen Elizabeth's bloodline with the Rothschilds, saying, you know, they're pedophiles like the Rothschilds, that because they're Rothschilds, they're connected to the Rothschilds, they're owned by the Rothschilds, blah, 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 they're pedophiles. As an occult scientist, as someone who's trying to teach people the truth of what's out there, because I hate conspiracy theorists that will take a thread and turn it into a noose for someone where there is no credibility. You know, it's there's stuff that's put out there on social media that is just blatant lies. It's coming from an unhealthy mindset. Someone, you know, will get a bite of something that might be a hint of truth and then blow it out of proportion into something that's quite detrimental to other people's reputations. And because the Illuminati, because the elites are trying to destroy the monarchy and get the Commonwealth away from, you know, the monarchy, so that they can become a republic and have control over the people and turn it into, like, you know, socialism and all that sort of thing. They have to destroy the royal family. And so they use these conspiracy theorists in that in order to feed the lies, to destroy the reputation of the monarchy. And what she's basically saying is She never witnessed the Rothschilds doing any kind of pedophile thing. That they never touched her. She never saw anything like that at any of the events. You know, she's talking about the Rockefellers, but not the Rothschilds. And because King Charles is, you know, associated with the Rothschilds by these conspiracy theorists, and I'm not saying that all conspiracy theorists are, you know, not right in the head, because obviously a lot of conspiracy theorists ended up being conspiracy fact. And as a scientist, I deal with facts. But where there is lies or, you know, misconceptions or propaganda, as a karmic judge, my role here is to differentiate the difference between truth and fact, you know, theory and fact, theory and truth. And yeah, so she's basically come out and said this, which is what the Queen has been trying to say. She's been trying to wake her son up to save her son, you know, but to save the monarchy, to save the Commonwealth since Starmer got in, and, you know, trying to stop this war, because she's trying to stop the children from, you know, being trafficked and help clear Vladimir Putin's name. And of course, because my whole purpose here is to protect children and to save the ones that are being trafficked, and that, because dealing with human trafficking, you know, children and human trafficking is something that I've been involved in since pretty much I started my blog, my WordPress blog, Spirit and the Paranormal. I started it in 2016. Yeah, 2016 I started my blog. And that's, you know, when I discovered the whole Hillary Clinton thing, and, you know, I started meeting all the police officers and military personnel suffering from the PTSD, them telling me their stories and what they were dealing with and what they knew, and sending me information and videos and links and all that sort of thing. I started seeing the horror of what was really out there, and then I knew I had to do something. And then that's when my whole calling came into place. I knew then what I had to do, and I started learning about who I was and what my purpose was. So I'll put a link in the description box below, but you have to remember that everything I've been put through, everything my boys and I have been put through by the US government, the UK government, friends, family, students, husbands, ex-husbands, best friends, blah, 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 was all to stop me from protecting children like this woman in this video. That's how sick they are. The only thing I will say is that obviously with my best friend, he was the innocent one. They knew that he was going to be working with me to build this server so that I could, you know, have my streaming service and all of that. Obviously there's more to it with what I'm building, that he never found out about because they went to him. But my student Ria, and I think Nikki, but I know Ria, I purposefully gave her his contact information in case anything happened to me, to see what would happen, because she was desperate to be me. She wanted to be me so bad that she would fake being me. But yeah, so I knew when I lost him that she'd failed that test. I knew they'd gone after him, and that they'd said whatever they'd said to turn him against me, and yada yada blah blah blah, getting my husband involved, getting my ex-husband involved, you know, like if they were all saying the same story, of course, you know, it's going to make me look like the villain. But God doesn't play like that. So obviously when I had to do my own investigation, and do my own, you know, I had to become my own private eye and gather evidence and do investigations and research and all that sort of thing to get my case ready for when I take them all to court. I started finding out the truth of who was involved and how deep it went and how far it went, going all the way back to Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and Zelensky and Starmer, and I connected all the dots. I was able to connect all the dots and connect them all together and link them to the tunnels and the parties and the trafficking, and it's all there on X. So then, of course, I became heavily shadow banned, and Elon Musk has done everything he can to try and stop me from getting the news out about, he's the reason why America's having these plane crashes, because he's using his tech to bring the planes down so that he can take over the FAA and win the contracts and that. And of course, when I started going to Donald Trump to tell him what was going on, to warn him about Elon Musk, I couldn't understand why nothing was being done. And people are saying, why haven't the Epstein files been released? Why haven't there been arrests and with the Epstein list in Hollywood and Diddy and all of that? Why hasn't Trump and that done anything? It's because they're all in on it. And I've proven it. I've done my investigation. The information is all there on X. I've deleted my app because I'm not allowed to go in there now. The Lord has forbidden me. I follow orders, not in a Nazi kind of way. I was just following orders like, when God speaks, you listen. When Mother Mary speaks, you listen. I'm a servant, that's what I'm here for. I'm a warrior. My brothers and I, Michael and Seraphael especially, that's what we're here for. And we follow the orders of our Father. We're good kids. So I'll put links in the description box below. But if you go over to my X account, the Dreamweaving Alchemist, or at Wix World, WICCES World, WORLD. It's all there. Some of it's on my X, but I spent a lot of time recently some of it's on my Instagram, but I spent a lot of time over on X because I thought I was supposed to be helping Donald Trump, but it ended up I had to investigate him, which was really hard to do because I thought I was there to protect him, and it ended up I was there to help bring him down, because Father is getting ready to bring the American government down. Donald Trump and Elon Musk will not be in power for much longer because Elon Musk is going to get arrested. Donald Trump's going to go down as well, so don't get used to him being president. I thought I was there to help him through an ascension, and it turns out I was actually there to investigate him, because obviously when I do investigations on people as a karmic judge, I then have to point them out to Father, and then he takes over. So now I've been removed from X. He gave me orders, leave, you've done your thing, leave, get rid of the app, you take care of you, and now you let me take care of business. So now him and Satan and all of that are there, getting ready to tear the bad people down. And I'm allowed to just get on with it now, and I've just got to wait until I sort my lawsuit out, and then I can build my first foundation and get all the people that I need to help me build my server and all of that, and then build my first safe house. And then we can start, when we rescue kids, we can start, putting them in the safe house, because you have to remember a lot of these kids are sold by their parents, so it's not safe for them to go back home, and also a lot of them are born to be used as slaves, or to be sacrificed, so they technically have no life. They technically don't exist. There's no birth certificates or parents or anything like that. They technically don't exist. They're bred from stolen children who have their identities removed and all of that, in order to protect the people who are investing in them, which are like this woman, this Annika, talking about the Defence Secretary of Belgium. So the people that buy these kids are the ones like in the EU, the WEFers and the hoofers and that, who are wanting war with Russia. But you have to remember, like I said, everything that I've been put through with, my ex and my husband and friends and family and all of that, it was to protect people just like who she's talking about in this video, or because they were abusers themselves and they didn't like the fact that I'm blowing the whistle. So they tried to kill me twice. But, you know, Father said no, because I know my purpose, and I've always known that I'm going to die of old age. So, yeah. So Vladimir Putin is not the bad guy. I speak the truth. I'm not allowed to lie. And I am here to protect the pure and innocent. So if I say that Vladimir Putin is innocent and not the bad guy, he's not. Keir Starmer, on the other hand, is all up in it. Again, I've been able to connect the dots. It's all there. The information is all there. Rocio Ray Nunes of the United States Air Force, the one who tried to, who made sexual advances towards my son, who was 7 at the time. You know, they're all connected. It's all military, and, you know, that's how they get them in and out of the country, through naval ships and, you know, cargo ships and Air Force planes and army jeeps, and they're all involved. But there are some good people out there like Vladimir Putin, who is doing everything he can to try and stop it, and he's up against the EU and the UK and all of that. But again, the whole reason why I'm making this video is because conspiracy theorists naming the Rothschilds in connection with King Charles, and then of course him and his mother and all of that are accused. Okay, the thing with his brother, that's his brother, that's not him. We all have people in our family who do things that, you know, can tarnish our reputations. We've all got people that we're around that we find out, you know, were abusers or rapists or this, that and the other thing. But King Charles is guilty by association, you know, but nobody on this planet has a perfect family where everyone in the family is, you know, all righteous and moral. There's always, you know, bad apples in every bunch. So the conspiracy theorists are hell-bent on taking King Charles down, and I'm desperately trying to save him and his reputation from going down with Starmer and that, because Father has started to pull it all down. And I'm trying to make sure that my king doesn't go down with the tower when the Tower of Babylon comes down. So, yeah, so I'll put links in the description box below. I keep praying for my king every day, which is why I said make me Prime Minister, and then I'd save his ass, because I, you know, like Donald Trump and that wouldn't dare come near us then. He wouldn't be trying to steal Canada, and that's for sure. But yeah, but I'd be able to do more to help the kids then, because then I could make sure that we got foundations built in all the Commonwealth countries, and, you know, I'd work with Vladimir Putin and, you know, take sides with Russia and that, in order to start doing the right thing for the rebuilding of the new world. Nayib Bukele, the president of El Salvador, he's completely fine. Like, he's off doing his thing. You know, he's chosen his path, and he's, because, you know, there's a King David bloodline, the Holy Trinity. They're supposed to be the 3 rulers who are responsible for making the world strong enough to build a new one as the old one's falling, you know, being pulled down by God. And it's supposed to be, from what I can gather, Nayib Bukele, Vladimir Putin and King Charles. So I defend them, I protect their reputations, and I defend them. Point them out to God, you know, clarify. I have to do investigations. I have to weigh up, you know, the good things I've done with the bad things I've done, take into account any of their ancestors that step forward to speak on their behalf, you know, see the way that they understand and represent their faith in God and all that sort of thing. And then I put my report together and, present it to my father, who then decides they need to be taken down, or, they need to be protected, or he will say straight out, you need to protect this person. And Queen Elizabeth II has been trying desperately to, break the laws of physics and that, to clear her name, her family's name, her son. She's trying to save her son, to protect her son and protect her Commonwealth. So it has nothing to do with Prince Andrew. He, like I said, I'm the baby of 7, and only one member of my family stood by my side and protected me and my sons. All the rest took the side of the child abusers. So, yeah, just because your family doesn't mean you have the same moral and ethical standards. Okay, so don't judge him for his brother, is basically what God's saying. Don't judge him because of his brother. So, yeah, the video is going to be hard to hear. She's so unbelievably brave about it. Children go missing here as well. I know the Home Office 2 years ago had admitted that they'd lost over 600 immigrant children from hotels, completely vanished from the hotels. At the time, I think Boris Johnson was Prime Minister, but it's all connected. Queen Elizabeth said it goes as far back as Tony Blair. But all the information is there. I've done the investigation. I've pulled up all the proof, all the evidence, including, because obviously it clears my name as well. Because they all thought I was crazy when I was saying this stuff. The doctors were only too happy to try and label me as being crazy, without any of them doing any investigation. None of them look. But then, of course, they stand to make a lot of money from medicating victims of abuse and the whistleblowers like me. So, yeah, I'll put links in the description box below. If you're sensitive or easily triggered, don't watch them. Don't look up my investigation. But it is all there. But just know, America and Great Britain, God is on it, and your current tyrannical rulers will not be current tyrannical rulers for much longer. I've been removed now, and when I get removed, it's because the law are coming in, and I don't mean judicial law, I mean universal law, the gods, the adjudicators of righteousness and morality, and the higher echelons of evolution are stepping in to take them all out. In that Joan of Arc, in the Revelations video that I did with Joan of Arc, and I put the link into the ghost zombie dream that I had in 2001, I think it was. She refers to herself as we the law. She's a saint, and she said, are you upset that we the law removed you from the one that you thought was going to be your protector, your husband? And I said, no, your grace. And she kept referring herself to we the law. That's the law I'm talking about. All I'm going to say is the law are coming. The law have started arriving. Jesus Christ has already announced himself. The evidence is all there on my X. It's undeniable. I don't post anything that is based on lies, because obviously I'm not allowed to lie, and I'm trying to win a court case to clear my name and get my children, and make them pay for everything that they put me and my kids through. because I can't even, I wouldn't even be able to count the amount of children I haven't been able to save since having to spend the last, since 2017, dealing with jealous students who hated the fact that I expected them to have morals and ethics. So then they decided to turn everyone against me with, false accusations and all of that. And let's pretend, with the Beth video, let's pretend to be her friend to get information and try and, sway her off her path. Like with my best friend Jose, when my student Michelle Grant came back into my life, and I was devastated. I was just in full-blown grief at losing my best friend. I got an email from him saying happy birthday. I thought we were finally reconnecting again. Everything went silent. I wrote him an email and it ended up as a Sand Tarot reading. That's when I knew that information was being fed between them all, and I just had to keep away and put my head down and stuff. And then, of course, obviously, my ex put the cocaine in the pizza after I did the whistle blowing for the Santero video. And, you can follow the timeline on my YouTube because it's all there. And yeah, it's like I had to start pulling the tower down from the second the PC Violet lied on the police report that got me locked up and all of that. That's when I had to start doing my own investigation. That's when I knew the prophecy had come into play, because my teacher had always prepared me for the fact that it was going to happen. What I didn't know was that my ex-husband was going to be involved, or that my husband would lie to my best friend and all of that. But I've got emails on my Instagram to Rhea Brown, screenshots where I'm giving her his contact details. I also gave Jose my husband's contact details in case anything happened to me, because I was starting to feel unsafe around my ex-husband. So I sent an email to my best friend saying if anything happens to me, here's Martin's details, because I was starting to pick up on the insanity of my ex-husband. I was starting to see things in him that were making me fear for my safety, but I kept brushing it off because I kept thinking he wouldn't do that. I'm the mother of his children, he wouldn't do that. The plan was he was going to help me get to where I was to go, and once I got there, I was going to retire him. But then he wanted everything that I was creating, and then used it all for, my oils and all of that, for black magic and pagan rituals, and, and they didn't think I'd find out, but I did. So now it's all part of the investigation, but they've all been in on it. If they weren't abusers themselves, they were defending and protecting the abusers so that they could make money off me. And none of them have any gifts. None, I know some of them are selling themselves as readers and that, but they're false prophets, and they cold read, and none of them did the training to know that. I know that I've got conversations that I had with Nikki where she's talking about seeing kids and people and all of that in her room, and black shadows and all that. So I knew by what they were saying as to the state of their psychological mind. So I kept feeding them the drops of blood to see how far they would take it. And once I realised that they were actually damaged people, that their minds were damaged, that's when I got removed. That's when I had to be removed. That's when I went through my ascension. That's when I got thrown into my ascension, because once I started demagnetizing myself away from their unstable minds, knowing that they were not people that I could trust around children, the way they then acted proved my point that they couldn't be trusted around children, because then they started hiding the relationship that my husband and best friend were having with the pedophile and the child abuser and all of that. So, and none of it can be denied. The conversations are there where they all knew that Courtney was abusing her kid, and we had meetings and conferences about it, because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know whether to call CPS or get the police involved, you know. So we had these big conversations. And of course, Joanne Smith, who the police have her information and never checked up on it, was a witness to my sexual assaults from my husband, my ex-husband, because I didn't know how to handle it, because I had no way of, you know, supporting myself or anything like that. And my boys and I were still, you know, looking to move to America. So I went to her and I said, look, he keeps trying to have sex with me. He keeps trying to force himself on me. And I keep waking up to him masturbating on my backside and my leg and forcing my legs open and all that sort of thing. I don't know what to do. And she was the one that said to me, why don't you put one of your boys in the bed with you so that he's forced to sleep somewhere else. And that's what I did. So the videos of me and Gabriel, where we're talking to the children with the orbs and talking about the soldiers and he's in my bed. He slept in my room for like a year and a half, nearly 2 years in my bed, to protect me from being sexually assaulted by my ex-husband. So all those videos of where you see me and my boy in the bed, you know, with the orbs and all of that, that was because he was protecting me from being abused, because that's what Joanne said to do, and that's what I did. And the police have her information and they didn't do anything. They have the laced weed and they didn't do anything because they believed the doctors and they believed the pedophiles and child abusers. So then when I started calling them out, that's when, calling the police out for their corruption, that's when they started trying to set me up as well. So I've been up against a lot here. The government, you know, the law, the courts, everything, all siding with the child abusers and pedophiles. But you know, it's like I keep saying, don't let anyone tell you you're something you know you're not. I know that I'm not crazy. I know that I've been up against, you know, an international ring of sex traffickers and child abusers and pedophiles and all of that, and I've been having to deal with it all on my own. But I've done it. And my investigation, like all my evidence will stand up in court. All the people that are willing to stand up and defend my honour from Sumo Digital. You know, I've got a lot of people from Sumo that are prepared to stand up in court in my name, because obviously Sumo Digital protected my ex-husband, the art director. They actually went to court and got lawyers involved. And they even, the one person, Luke Knuckles, who defended me, they fired him for expecting Sumo Digital to do right by me and my sons. So they fired him. So then he took them to court for unfair dismissal. But yeah, Sumo Digital went to the extreme to protect Chris, and they've also been known before for employing pedophiles, and that one of them was charged and is now serving time, I believe. So yeah, so I've been up against it, because obviously, you know, we're going to be making video games, so we're the competition, and because they were stealing ideas and all that sort of thing. So yeah, so I got let out on the 11th of October 2022. As soon as I got out, I started my investigation. So since October of 2022, that's how long it's taken me to do my investigation. I got a letter from the police in 2023 to say that they were reviewing my case and that they were investigating the domestic violence, and I've got a crime number and everything. And that was 2023. I still haven't heard anything other than the fact that PC Right tried to set me up for a bogus claim that my ex-husband made about stalking him online when it wasn't even me. So, but the video's there, because I recorded her lying 4 times. But it's all there. All the information's there on my social media, on my YouTube. But I'll put links to Annika's video in the description box, and the one that I made about Zelensky and the UK and all of that. But you know, I'm not allowed to lie. The information is all there. Because my evidence has to stand in court. So I'm never going to ever be dumb enough to take anything to court, unlike them, that's false or made up or doctored or altered or a lie, because I know what would happen. It's against the law to commit perjury. And they've done more than commit perjury and, make false reports with the police and that. Like, attempted murder is a pretty serious thing. So, gang stalking and, trying to set me up, trying to get men to seduce me and make videos and all of that so that they could use it to blackmail me and, say I was a woman of ill repute. But I've said I'm more than happy to get a medical exam. The doctors can tell when a woman's been sexually active, and I've said I'm more than happy to get a gynecologist to do an internal exam to prove that I haven't been touched since 2015. I haven't even had a man physically touch me. I've had one man touch my hand in 10 years. The last time I was kissed was on my wedding day, 2000 and, when did I get married? 2017. That was the last time I was kissed, was on my wedding day. And then prior to that, after that, one man has physically touched, like, put his hand on my hand. I'm untouched, I'm pure. My boys gave me orders when my husband left me for the abuser and the paedophile. I'm for display only. Men can look but not touch. And they haven't. I'm true to my word. So, they can say what they like. It's because, with narcissists and that, they accuse you of the things they're guilty of. And because they were all sleeping with each other, they were all swapping. Rosio's been handed round like a joint. I know 3 men that have been with her, or been, sexually active with her, either online or in physical person. They all share, because, that's what cults do. When you're in a cult, they share energy. So they share the lies, they share the sacrifices, they share the darkness, they share the sex. And for some reason, with cults, they like to use sex to harness energy of their victims, like the pedophiles and the sex traffickers and that. It's because it's all a cult, and they use sex as a way to harness energy. But that's not how it's done, because they're not right in the head, because it's insanity. They use sex. They don't know what love is, so they mistake lust for love, and they use sex to trap energy and harness energy. So, you'll have a female become like a siren and use succubus energy, or a man will become a whore and use like incubus energy. The occult supernatural definition of a succubus and incubus, I've done the video, it explains it all, how the manifestations of, the mind, you manifest them as like sexual energy. But in cults, they will use women and men to go out and seduce and have sex with, and be sexually active with, in order to harness their energy so that they can trap them in a bubble and use them for blackmail, which is what happened with my best friend. But I can't be around all of that. I'm not allowed to be around that. Father forbids us from interacting with devils and demons. We're not allowed to be courteous to devils and demons. So when you see me online speaking harshly about someone, it's because they deserve it, because we're not allowed to show respect to devils and demons. We're there to take them down. So, but I know that my best friend was a victim, that they targeted him on purpose because they knew that he was the one that was going to help me rescue children through what it was I was asking him to come into business with me for. So he's the innocent one out of all of them. All the rest of them are going to go down. they'll all go down. They're going to have their reputations and careers and families destroyed, because this will get out. This will go public. People will know the names of the cult, because when the prime ministers and presidents and world leaders and that get taken down by God, my ex and my husband and all my students in that are all going to be named in the same vein, and go down with them as well. But my personal dealings are with the American government, the UK government, and obviously my exes and students and that, because the American and UK governments wouldn't have gotten involved if the students hadn't have gone to them and said things and done things. And, you know, Hillary Clinton, it's all there. It's all named in the investigations. It's all there. This video is to clear the name of my king. And, you know, conspiracy theorists talking about the Rothschilds and the royal family, and this woman who knows what she's talking about even more than me, because, you know, she was there. She expressly said that the Rothschilds didn't touch her, that the Rothschild didn't touch her. So I'm clearing the king's name here and now, like the Queen wanted me to do. And then if he wants me to be Prime Minister, no, I'm just kidding. It means I can get out of here. My boys and I can finally get justice and get out of here and build a new life for ourselves, which we deserve. So my best friend, my ex-best friend, is the only one that I won't be naming in the lawsuit, even though I should, because, you know, he got involved in the hacking and my Instagram and all of that. Like, you know, he did get involved, but he thought he was on the right side. He thought he was doing the right thing, taking a bad person down. He didn't know that he was kept in the dark, which is the dream I had yesterday, me rescuing him from the dark. So now that I've done that and I've cleared his name, I'm allowed to move on. And he can move on as well. But it doesn't mean I want to have contact with him, because every time I look at him, all I would see is Rocio and what she did to my boy, who now at almost 15 is still haunted by it. He said it's burnt into his brain what she did. So yeah, I won't stop until her and my ex-husband and my husband are taken down. I will not stop until my husband Martin, my ex-husband Chris, Rocio, and all my students, Ria, Nikki, Michelle, Beth, all of them are held accountable for what they did to my children and I. So yeah, I'm not going to stop. God won't let me. But as far as the presidents and prime ministers and Elon Musk are concerned, I'm now to leave them to God. I get to make these videos and plan my future again. So anyway, can you hear the birds? The gods always come in, eh? Beautiful. Okay, so links in the description box below. I'm going to make myself a coffee. I'm up early for specific reasons, don't worry. I will speak to you later. Remember, hold your head up high, America. God has come. Jesus has arrived. Satan is here. He's come turfside up. So they're starting to pull everything down now. Just hang in there. Okay, so, and go to my ex and, you know, click on all the links, and it's all there. All the information is there. I'll speak to you later. Hold your head up high. It's nearly over, I promise. Ka kite anō. Mwah.